After 10 years without a new mainline entry, and with 3 Deluxe being the most highly rated and best-selling in the series, Pikmin 4 has a lot to live up to, and frankly, I don't think I could be any more excited for it. The game looks beautiful, the new Pikmin talking and Doggy look fun, and already there seems to be a bunch of new features that fans have been clamoring for years. I wanted to talk about this game for a while now, and now that we have a solid game trailer and the game releasing in just under 3 months, I want to make a quick video going over the things I like to see in the game, and then make a follow-up video once the game finally comes out. Now, this won't be in a top 10 format per se, rather it's just 10 things I want to see in no particular order, and some things may be combined into one entry just to keep things simple. These will go over new things I'd love to see, things I'd like to see return, and I'll refer to the previous games for reference points from time to time. And since I have other bigger projects on the way, editing will be pretty minimal. And just know, this isn't some professional critic, and I doubt all these will make it into the final game. This is all wishful thinking. Anyways, I'm rambling on here. Let's talk about the first thing I want to see. One thing that really impressed me with the trailer is the new Ice Pikmin with its ability to freeze water and enemies, and the dog Otachi, who can tackle obstacles and go through hazards. These are both really cool, and I might be greedy to say this since we already get 2 types per game, but I'd love to see more Pikmin types. Chances are, if you've been in any Pikmin communities, you've seen ideas for new Pikmin types here and there. Some that stick, some that climb, some that move faster, some that survive explosions. The possibilities are endless. And given how the first game ends, you see tons of different onions flying to space of all varying colors, there's tons of untapped potential, not to mention it would give all new possibilities for travel around the world. While having a bunch of different Pikmin types is fun, it would also be great if you could expand what you could do with them too, or to be more accurate, add more things you can do with commanding them. Obviously, there's only so much you can add before it gets overwhelming or breaks the flow of the game. But if Pikmin 3 can add tasks for the Pikmin and captains to do automatically, I'm sure 4 can do the same. Maybe have them organize tasks by color, maybe have captains go to a specific place and then perform a basic task, or possibly command both Pikmin and or captains to do multiple tasks at once with a priority system. Another idea is to have them choose between either a swarm like the first 2 games to deal with enemies, or in a line like in 3 in order to get around. Not only would it give this simple yet complex variable to make things more interesting, but it could also lead to some fun concepts seeing various groups working around the field like little ants. But enough about the past games, let's talk about the new things they add, such as exploring around at night, a first in the series, and repeatedly said to be very dangerous as most creatures on the planet are nocturnal. Although I do wish for an end of the day like in the previous 3 games too. So here's what I'm thinking. What if you have the option by sundown to either climb to the ship to go to the next day, or stay at night on the surface? Why would you want to do that? Well, there's a few options here. You could give them more time to carry treasures and corpses back to base. You could finish a puzzle that you were already stuck on. Or maybe, what if certain creatures like secret bosses or certain foes that give off a lot of Pikmin only spawn then? Hell, with the low light of the moon, maybe purple and white Pikmin can grow. It would be perfect for new players that want to progress, and also for veterans that want experience in rare commodities. A risk versus reward system. And on the subject of freedom of choice, I've only seen one area so far and it looks huge, and adding the ability to clear hazards with Otachi, climb walls, or freeze water altogether, seems there will be tons of options to get around. But why stop at just this backyard? Each of the games has lush environments that are very different from one another, so I'd love to see a bunch of new locales. Maybe some we haven't even seen before, like a swamp with mud and water, a jungle with vines you could swing on, cherry blossom woods, or hell, why not go into that house in the background there? The possibilities are endless, only made better by the climbing and crossing water and other features that help you feel like a real explorer. So, just to divert just a little bit, one problem I did have with the original trilogy was type balance. If you picked one specific type for a puzzle, you could potentially get the optimal route. In the first game, unless a part is submerged underwater, or if there's a rock wall in the way, it'll be hard to find a reason to use yellow or blue Pikmin. In 2, at most you need like 10 of each type, then mostly yellows and purples to get stuff done, given the electric insta-kills, and the fact that purples utterly destroy everything. And in 3, tons of puzzles and challenges can be cheese thanks to the winged Pikmin. I do appreciate different ways to solve the problem, but I do want the types overall more balanced, maybe by giving them tasks only they could do. Elemental hazards are a good start, and puzzles tailored to them are nice. Take for example the first game where you need blues to open up a water geyser, yellow Pikmin to grab a ship part on a high ledge, and then reds to take over and carry it over fiery geysers. I'm not saying that challenges need to be like that specifically, or be tailored to just one type alone like the Smirch Castle. I just don't want an easy win option of just flying over everything or just destroying everything with one shot. And also in the game, it looks like dungeons are back as well. Some like them, some hate them. Personally, I like them, but just not as much as the standard game. Since they are coming back, there are a few small changes I'd like to see to make them overall better. Mainly coming down to quality over quantity. Since in 2, they were so packed and held a majority of the treasures, and they kinda took all sense of real-time strategy. It looks like in the trailer that the main thing in the dungeons will be rescuing shipwrecked captains. So one big floor with a bunch of hazards I think would be a better layout. Things sort of like the Formidable Oak, but removing the Blob of Doom, making it possible to leave early, and possibly stay during night with a risk of possible monsters. I think it would be the best of both worlds and resolve a lot of the issues that people had. This one is just more of a personal nitpick, but I don't like how angled down the camera is. I get it's made to show off the gorgeous environments, and other games have moments with fixed camera angles, but being too close and not angled to the ground makes it difficult to aim and throw properly, so adjusting the camera's distance and what angle would be great. And on the subject of that, other options I love to see are difficulty settings, a choice between motion and button controls, bringing back the ultra spicy mode which gives you shorter time, and maybe an optional time limit on how many days you can do overall. All these boil down to preferences, but since many people get intimidated by the prospect of limited days and being able to lose an entire squad in one go, having options like these give both new players a comfortable time while giving veterans something new to do. So that's what I have to say about the main story, but while that is the main focus, that's not all there is to do. I would love to see something like the mission mode of collecting fruit and enemies from Pikmin 3 return. I'd also like to see the dungeon challenges from 2, where you have to go through a gauntlet of enemies while in a short time limit. And this is more of a personal pick, but I love the first game with its Pikmin collecting minigame. I'd love to see that return too. Not to mention there are tons of different modes that are also iconic for the series. There's Bingo Battle where you fight your friends over certain objects and treasures. There's also possible different modes for versus and co-op modes, and I would love to see something akin to the Olimar side stories where it gives new contacts and ways to get around the previously explored levels. And oh yeah, co-op! Probably one of my new favorite features from Deluxe. Ever since Pikmin 2, it seems like the series would be perfect for it, but oddly enough, it took till 3 mini-games to implement it and 3 Deluxe to put it in the main game. And since the game seems to follow 4 different captains, this would be the perfect opportunity to bring it back. Plus gives the option of both characters to throw and characters to control. I don't know how well 4 players could work on this, especially in couch co-op, but in this age of online play, it would be a big opportunity to add online friends to play with too. They did it in 3D World, and a bunch of open world games nowadays strive on online experiences, so I feel like this would be a shoo-in for something great. And frankly, since it looks to be a much larger game in scope compared to the other 3, you'll need all the help you can get to traverse this place. And finally, the last thing I want to see is a little weird and contradictory to what I said about the larger scope, but overall, I want it to be a short story. Obviously, you don't want to go through the whole game too soon, but the thing across all 3 games was that it was always counting. How many Pikmin you lose, how many days it takes, and how much treasure you collect, and a final tally at the end for everything, and those scores compared to your other playthroughs. And that's what helps make it so replayable, finding new ways to get around and explore, as well as the best possible times and records. A lot of AAA games, including with Nintendo, it's about the journey and stuff you do along the way, such as side quests, the main story, the characters, etc. Pikmin on the other hand, while it does focus on that, it is very focused on the destination as well, making it to the end, escaping the planet, and soon coming back so you can do even better. Hell, the Metroid series takes a similar focus, and with the latest entry, Dread, it keeps the tradition alive. So thankfully, this idea isn't lost in the modern gaming landscape. Out of all the ideas on here, this is the one I want to see most out of 4. It adds a lot of replayability that makes the game both engaging and unlike most other games I played. It's short yet sweet. And that's just a few of the ideas I'd like to see in Pikmin 4. Again, obviously, not every idea will make it on here, and some changes may be for the better or worse. Time will only tell what comes out of this game, but when it does come out, or if a direct or trailer drops before the game's release, I'll do an update video over what we saw. But for now, that's all I have to say about this new game. I hope you enjoyed the video, and be sure to subscribe so you can keep up with more Pikmin content in the future. and let me know what kind of things you want to see in Pikmin 4. I'm really excited for this game, and frankly, I can't wait for it to finally come out.